Welcome back to part 2 of why did some people not like Nosferatu, the expectations that they had going in. In part 1 I talked about how expecting it to be a horror story instead of a gothic tale could affect whether or not you enjoyed it. And I think another key expectation that might have affected viewers is whether they expected it to be German Expressionist or Romanticism. And Eggers himself, thank God he's so straightforward with us, has said that this is really done through a Romanticism lens, not a German Expressionist lens, which makes sense because that's from the 1910s, 1920s when the original film came out, and it is a reaction to the First World War in Germany and the trauma that everyone had, and Eggers is not a German director from that time period, so reinventing it under this is important. Also, it's not just the visuals. German Expressionism has a story that it often tells and a style that goes with its themes. So let's dive in a little more. The 2024 Nosferatu leans into Romanticism. It embraces beauty, nature, and human emotion. It reimagines the vampire as a figure of longing and tragic allure. It's pretty reasonable to expect that you were going to get some version of German Expressionism in this film because the original 1922 Nosferatu, directed by F.W. Murnau, is the quintessential example of German Expressionism. It is a reflection of the raw emotion of anxiety and alienation post-World War I Germany. Now, I definitely think that there is some of this in Eggers' version. There's a lot of use of shadow. There's a lot of direct kind of graphic matches to the original shots that this film has. So what I'm saying here is that intent is really a little bit shifted. While we're still getting the same story, a German Expressionist film would focus more on its attempt to unsettle its audience with its otherness, whereas putting that story through a Romanticism lens would be focusing more on the sublime and this dreadful feeling of longing, which I do think you get in this film. But again, if you're expecting to see something that's more about this creature from another world, simply seeing someone who looks like a person, i.e. he has a mustache, might put you off right to begin with. And understandably, I'm on team this didn't work for me. I'm still trying to argue both sides of Aristotle's argument here. So both styles are telling the same story, but the key difference is the emotion they're trying to evoke from us. German Expressionism is trying to make us confront our fears, whereas Romanticism is way more about escaping into the beauty and the emotion of that. So if you are expecting to confront your fears and you're watching a movie that's way more about like just kind of sitting in it, you might find yourself frustrated. And again, that's one of those things that I think if you knew going in, it might help fix it for some.